What if I told you the end in Minecraft isn't what it seems? Hidden millions of blocks away from the Ender Dragon's island is something massive. A giant ripple of rings stretching so far, the game's own code starts to break. This isn't some Easter egg or some secret feature. It's a full-blown glitch baked deep into Minecraft's terrain generation. And today, we're not only going to jump into a fresh world to prove that this glitch is 100% real, we're also going to figure out exactly why this happens. Let's get into it. So first things first, we actually have to go to the end. Okay, so if the image is right, this would be the first ring. The next one's about 370,000 blocks out. So I'm currently at 1,000. Okay, so I've teleported 370,000 out, as you can see. If the image is right, the edge of this should curve. I'll just try go to the edge and see. Okay, so it seems like we've kind of reaching the edge. I'll go along to see if it curves. It's like there's nothing there. No way. It's definitely stepped back. I guess it does. Now, obviously, this is just a huge void here, but the next one after this is supposedly 500,000 out. We are now very much in the void. There's nothing here. So right now we're on what would be the third ring. So by going to the first one and showing that it curved, and then a massive void in between, and then by teleporting even further out to the second ring, this shows that this image is in fact true. But now we just got to see why. After doing some pretty extensive research, we can find what causes these end rings deep in the code for the world generation of Minecraft. And that's it. That's the code that causes this. Also, the lack of comments on this code really pains me. It goes against everything I was taught as a programmer. But anyway, what's actually happening here is Java can only process such high or such low numbers. 2,147,483,647 to be exact. And Minecraft's terrain generation is trying to process a higher value than this, causing some values to be interpreted as nan, or not a number, which is a special Java error where it tries to represent a floating point number with a greater magnitude than allowed for 32-bit representation. So out of pure curiosity, I loaded a world in Bedrock to see if this occurred, and after teleporting 370,000 blocks out, I can confirm that it doesn't. Which I guess makes sense, considering that it's a Java error that causes this, but I thought I'd check it anyway. A very smart fella called Ant Venom discovered something even more interesting, however, that each ring will have the exact same area, which can be proven like this. The area of the innermost ring is pi times 370,727 squared, which is the radius of it, and where we first meet the void. Take this value, double it to give the second ring, divide by pi, and then square root it, which gives 524,287, which is where the second ring begins. We can do this process again to find 741,453, which is where the third ring starts, and so on, doubling each time to get to the next ring. Plotting this as a Desmos graph gives a visual representation of what's actually happening here. Each time the graph crosses the x-axis, the terrain switches from blocks to void, and as this occurs in every direction from the starting point, it creates a ripple effect with several circular rings. Taking a look at the graph again, we can see that as you go further out, the rings become closer together. If you are somehow able to bypass the 30 million world limit, you'd see that they get closer and closer. Even more interestingly, as each ring has an identical area, there exists a ring that is only one block thick. And so that's it. We've proved that they exist, and we've covered how they work. I'd like to thank and give credit to Ant Venom for his very well thought out explanation of how this works. His video is linked down below, and also Chronix's video, which is a much more recent video on this, which is also linked below. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.